All right, this is what that was all about. You can read that. Plates under here. I actually had to call the factory. I don't know if I covered this before, but I was looking for these on a separate pallet somewhere. Didn't find them, didn't make sense. But once they told me, it makes perfect sense. I don't think you could make better sense. Everything's under there. About the only thing that might have helped would be a bright orange or green sheet of paper on the top of all the boxes that says plates underneath the bottom. Anyway, that's what we're after today. We're gonna get this thing squared up and braced up from where I left it last week, and see about getting the first set of plates on this. And I do have a pretty twisted post here. I know there's a detail for dealing with that, but just with where it's at, I'll probably just build a wrench to twist that in when we stand. I'll leave this one unbolted down here. Well, we'll figure it out one way or the other. We'll get it in there, whether we set it in there first with the crane and then twist everything else in. It's going to be a little tricky, but I'm sure we can handle it. So 373. 372. We will do that by strap and a strap. $372.5. I don't want to put a brace on that, but I think I want to put some window framing in there to make it simpler when that goes up. Maybe I can move that. I guess these are medium tees and they go for the lean-tos. Let us get some nuts and put a bottom plate on before we load all of them. Have to get an oven mitt. One nut, it'll take forever. Come on. All right, so the inner lean-to on this vent, the tie beam goes here horizontal. The rafter sits on this block, runs out to it, and then the pitch changes to a little shallower pitch. It's like a pitch and a half to continue out on the outer lean-to. So this area here, I have a beam, and there's a set of clear story windows above this roof, or sidewall. So somewhere in here, I have a row of windows centered. There's one in each bay, and coming around the corner, there's 3 on the front here, and I need to visually, it probably wouldn't matter on the outside, but on the inside, you're going to want to see them all in the same line. So I got to figure out where they're going to fit best in here. I don't have a dimension for them. I think it's framer's choice. So I'm going to work that out first, and then I can place the purlins here to help with the framing of those rough openings later. So I'll just spend a little time with the blueprints and see where it gets me. All right, this is just the framing for the window, but the wall gets covered with vertical T&G pine 1x8 with the chamfer in. So this will end up looking like it's applied to the inside of that. Even though there's a window here, we may or may not do trim around the surround of the window, but this will lay up against there a little better than probably a miter. It's going to look applied to the inside of the wall when we're done. It's kind of a ways down the road, but I'll point it back out when we get to it. There's really only two conditions like this window here and the one at the other end up in the loft. It's the same condition, so it just kind of dead ends out in the middle there. So that's what we'll do with that. So I went ahead and added this girt right here, wall purlin. It notches around 4 plates going across there, 4 large T's and with bolts in them. So it's a lot easier to do it on the floor here than it is up in the air. It saved a bunch of time. Not sure exactly what's going to go on with that between now and when I lift it, but I'm going to probably start laying out some other bents here this afternoon. Well, it's coffee time now, so it's not even lunchtime yet. So I'm going to go have a cup of coffee and get back to it. All right, I am setting up to build the next 3 bents right here. I'm gonna have to post those up solid. The bottom one I'm doing is the second one in from the back. The back one I'm gonna build over there. I'm gonna try to get all this set from one crane setup. And if I build the second one in, then I can build the third and fourth one in from the back, which once I set this one first, then the next 2 will follow. I can brace them. It'll leave this fourth one from the front on the floor, and that should work with the space I have. What I didn't realize was in these bent packages, which are super handy to have, the amount of wood in there dealing with the lean-to parts is far greater than I thought, and so it ends up, I may end up just stacking all the lean-to stuff on the forklift and setting it aside somewhere else. So I think it's only 8 pieces for the center part of the bent, the tall one. So I'll dig those out and set the rest aside. Okay, so this tie beam here, I guess, yeah, it's a tie beam. It's got an enormous twist in it. I don't know if you can see it from there, but just due to the nature of the way I'm laying this out here, we're gonna have to set it to that side and then bring that side up to it and make that work. All right, we'll plate that tomorrow. We gotta go tie some rebar on another job. It's 2:30. Got a couple hours on a different job. All right, next morning here. I was putting together that part 2 video. I got these brackets. Where's my finger? Got those brackets right there. I was looking at them and I got them turned the wrong way. So I spent a little bit of time this morning fixing those. All the posts in this building are 6x6 with the exception of the center aisle, and those are all 6x8. So I had those turned the other way so that it falls a 6-inch way in the wall there, and then the outer where I drilled those big holes, those are 6x8 as well. So the outside one was right, but the inside one needed moved. So I got that handled. Well, it was super cool. And now I'm going to put together the rest of this bent, square it up, and then plate it. One more thing I noticed when I was putting that video together was these two are reversed, so I got to set this one aside, and then I think I'm going to break this one down outside here and set it aside, so I just have the main beams for over. We're going to stack the next two on top of the one I just built at the back there. Okay, here's the center section we're doing. There's only 4 big pieces that I have on the forklift right now. We got a post on each side and the main rafters. And I have a 5th piece, which is this, must be a cross tie piece there. And then everything else I can manage by hand. So I'm gonna see, I gotta build up this 6 inches. I'll take some of that rough sawn 2x6 and stand it on edge, so I have room to reach under for all the plates, and I may be able to wrestle those out or place them with the forklift instead of firing up the crane right now, but that's what we're going to do next. Oh, this camera just keeps auto zooming itself. This is nuts. Actually, that's not a bad view for where I'm going next, so we'll leave it. Okay, the plans call for a block right in there, or actually a pair of blocks. Nothing came with it, nothing was attached to that collar tie. So I may cut one, and instead of being two separates, it may be just a single one that goes between them. I did put extra screws in it. I may just leave it. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. After thinking about this, pan around here. When I put this together, I'm looking at all the little tags, and I'm aware of the fact that fur sunburns real bad, darkens up, kind of golds out, and turns kind of goldish red. So the tags that are on there really make no difference because all that is outside. You know, you'll never see any of it. But here, if I leave these tags here for longer than a day or two, it'll sunburn a little patch in there that'll stay white. So I got to pull those off, and for that reason I just pulled that square brace off, because once you stand it up and close it in inside, it won't ever get enough light to equalize. It'll always be kind of funny looking. So I'm gonna spend the last few minutes of the day here pulling tags off and making sure nothing is stacked on here like that. That spider box is on top of that one. That one's okay, but if it was here, it would be a problem. So we'll just be aware of that till we get them stood up and start closing everything in. All right, the goal for today, it's a Friday and I've got a full weekend to work elsewhere. one day of it, it's at the house doing some welding. I'm gonna get this, let's see, what would it be? It would be the D bent, built today. So this is C, and then, or excuse me, this is B, this is C. I'm gonna build D, that's E. And then I'll get that built, pull the tags off of it, get the plates on it, and then see about laying that up. I also want to catch up on the purlin layout on the top cords, and if I get that far, I'll get some. Oh, and I also have to, there's a tie beam. I don't know what they call those, lateral beams, stringers, something. There's a beam, it's about 3 feet down from the top, that I have to lay out on each one. And as long as I can lay out from the top down, as long as the zero line gets subtracted correctly off the bottom, that'll all end up in good shape. So we'll see how far we get today with that, and then go from there. It's floating about 6 inches high. I think what I want to do is get the collar tie in there and get both sides plated before I drive that down. Otherwise I'm going to lose what I just gained. I may also put a 12-inch through from the other side. Okay, it's getting hot out here today. That is bent D all put together, and I'm gonna have some lunch, move some cameras around, and then see about starting on that last bent. I also may start stickering the siding that showed up. It's been stained, but it wasn't stickered when it was put back on a pallet, and it needs to air out, so I may start that to finish out the day. We'll see. see that up there, but crane makes it for this setup here. So we're going to start laying out this vent here. It's A, back of the barn.